These days, many Christians think very lightly of the Great Tribulation. So they don't really think about it, and they're not really worried about the Great Tribulation. And they think that, when the Great Tribulation comes, I just have to endure it. So they think very lightly about the Great Tribulation. But what I like to tell you is Jesus warned that the Great Tribulation is so terrible that there's nothing compared to the Great Tribulation. So this is Matthew chapter 24:21. For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, nor ever shall be. So Great Tribulation is something that's so terrible that nothing that ever happened in the history of mankind will compare to it. So in the history of mankind, there were so many terrible things happen. But Great Tribulation will be like none other. So why do Christians feel so lightly about the Great Tribulation? It's because what they really think is that the Great Tribulation is something that will not happen in my generation. So it's something that will happen in the future, and it's not going to happen to me. And also, many Christians believe in the pre-tribulation rapture. So they believe that they will be raptured before the Great Tribulation comes, so they don't have to worry about it. And also, many Christians are led to believe that the Great Tribulation is something that's easily dealt with. So it's something you can endure very easily. So I read about a vision, and what she saw was that she was lining up in front of the building. The people were being beheaded. So people were just being beheaded, and then the suffering is over. So she was saying, you don't have to worry about the Great Tribulation. You just have to become a martyr in the Great Tribulation, and your suffering will end very quickly. And also, I read an article by a prominent prophet, and vision he saw was that in the radar he saw a dot approaching his ship, and then when it approached, it just steered clear around his ship and it just passed through. So what he was telling was that Great Tribulation is something that will pass by very quickly and easily. So you don't have to worry about the Great Tribulation. So one thing you can note about this prophet is he's a pastor at a mainstream church. So many mainstream church leaders are being led to enter the Great Tribulation because many Christians in the mainstream churches, they are not saved. So as many Christians as possible have to be led into the Great Tribulation to be saved. So they are being led into the Great Tribulation. So this kind of thinking makes people think very naive about the Great Tribulation. But one thing I want to tell you is that in the Great Tribulation, nobody will be allowed to just die easily. So what Satan wants is Christian's soul, not his life. So the lives of the Christians, they don't mean too much to Satan. What they really want is their soul. So in the Great Tribulation, Satan will not just let you die easily. So he will torture people so that they deny the real Jesus and bow down to Antichrist. So they will try to torture the Christians as long as possible without killing them. So the Great Tribulation will be like living hell on the earth. So in hell, they can do whatever they want to do to the souls. So I heard a story about what's happening in hell. So people are being boiled and fried in the oil, things like that, and then they chop their bodies and they eat their bodies, and then they keep torturing over and over again. So it will be almost the same like in hell. So the Antichrist followers will try to cause pain and they will do whatever they want to do to the bodies of the Christians without killing them. So can you imagine how terrible it will be? So I sometimes wonder, like, who can endure such torture for a long time? So the Great Tribulation is 3.5 years. So who can endure such torture for 3.5 years? So Jesus said, if it were to be 3.5 years, nobody will be saved. So it says here, this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. So because nobody would be able to endure such torture for a long time, like, I don't think I can even endure such torture for a few days. So that's why Jesus said he will shorten the days of the Great Tribulation. So you have to be able to imagine how terrible it would be in the Great Tribulation. So we have the power of imagination. So without going to hell, without being in the Great Tribulation, we can project what it will be like. So sometimes it's beneficial to project yourself in that situation. Like, imagine yourself, see if you can endure such pain, so that you can warn yourself not to go into that kind of situation. So I hope you realize what a terrible period the Great Tribulation will be. So what should we do? So we have to do our best to avoid the Great Tribulation. So this is Book of Revelation chapter 2 verse 22. Indeed, I will cast her into a sickbed, and those who commit adultery with her into great tribulation, unless they repent of their deeds. So how can we avoid the Great Tribulation? He says, Jesus will cast her and those who commit adultery with her into great tribulation, unless they repent of their deeds. So what it means is, if you repent, then you don't have to go into the Great Tribulation. So we have to get out of this naive thinking that Great Tribulation is something that's easy. We have to do our best. We have to do whatever it takes to avoid the Great Tribulation. And how do we do that? We have to repent. And we have to repent to follow Jesus, not just believe Jesus. We have to follow Jesus and live for Him, not for this vain world. And we have to get rid of all the sinful lifestyle. And then we have to pray to God about the Great Tribulation, to have mercy on us, so that He can exempt us from going through the Great Tribulation. I wish you blessings from the Lord.